I've gotten into this thing where when I visit a new city, I like to go on a walking tour. It could be history, art, architecture, true crime, ghosts. I'm not too into those, but if there's like a historic bent to it, I might check it out. And so when I was going to Nashville for my birthday in 2023, one of the activities that I looked into was going on a walking tour, and I found the Murder in Music City Ghost Tour. What I liked about it was that it took place at night, and it was a combination of history and I guess paranormal stuff, but it was really enjoyable. It lasted about an hour and a half. Much of the time was spent at the Tennessee State Capitol, where we learned about the building of it, some of the people that were involved, controversies, some of the deaths and murders that took place there. But we then moved on from there and walked through this plaza that they have, learning more stories along the way. The guide was actually really good. And from there, we then moved on to the street. We went to the Hermitage Hotel, heard a few stories about that hotel, and then some other sites around the city. Great experience. So it's now officially my birthday, and I actually got back to the hotel a little bit later than I wanted to. I wanted to come back kind of early, but I ended up going on a ghost tour walk. I've been on them in Savannah, New Orleans, and now Nashville, and I'm pretty much going to look for one in Atlanta and see if I can find one in New York as well whenever I get back home. But I got it a little bit later than I wanted to, but it all worked out. I did a bunch of running around and stuff. Decided that I wanted to have a cheese platter for breakfast, so I stopped off at Whole Foods to get some stuff, and it ended up making me a little bit late to get back to the area for to get food and stuff like that. But fortunately, I was able to order ahead at Jack's Barbecue, and I stopped at the location right out there in the downtown district, so where the honky tonks and all of the music places are and whatnot. And really the reason that I picked it up then was that the walk was going to start at 9. It was supposed to go for an hour and a half, and then it's at that time I didn't want to then have to try to find some place to go get food or something, because it'd be quite late. A lot of places would be closed, and then it wouldn't be a lot of people out on the street and stuff. So I figured the best bet would be to get something before I went on the walk, just leave it in my car, and then from there I would just take it back to the hotel and heat it up, which is where I am now. And so I ended up getting the rib platter with green beans and cream corn, and I'll show you what I have. So this is the to-go plate, and yeah, I mean, listen, I'm fine with not so fancy food. Barbecue, I don't think is supposed to be fancy, but I was a little disappointed by the food actually, because it has really good ratings on Google. I will say that I think the sides are actually really, really good. The cream corn is great. The green beans are really good as well. So the sides are actually amazing. Typically, I like those really skinny green beans, and I don't really like them cooked to being soft. I like them to still have a little bit of crunch to them, but these are actually really, really good, as is the cream corn. Though I will say I think the ribs are a little bit disappointing. Now, granted, I say this with the caveat that I've reheated the ribs, but the flavor isn't really for me, and the texture of the meat, not so much either. Even with reheating it, I can tell that this was kind of dry to start with. Now, granted, when I went into the restaurant, it was kind of late down in the evening. It's possible that the ribs were sitting around for a bit, and between that and microwaving it, that it got dried out, but I think it was probably just dry to begin with. But there's something in there that I don't really care for with the ribs. I don't know if it's it might not necessarily be clove, but it has a flavor similar to clove that I don't really care for. But I'm gonna still eat it though. It's ribs aren't really my favorite. And there's like a barbecue sauce. Granted, given that I was in a rush, I did select like the barbecue sauce that I wanted with it. But because they didn't have my order together, like, they just grabbed what was handy. And I didn't have time really they had like a little stand with some sauces and stuff. I didn't have the time to go through and pick up anything else. So I got, I think it's their Carolina sauce, which is pretty cool. It's like a mustard-based sauce. So it's like kind of tangy. Not bad. So I think dipping the ribs in that, like, it makes it like pretty good. But on its own, like, the ribs aren't really for me. But the sides, I'm here for the sides though. I highly recommend it. So, the ribs, not like super impressed with them. But the sides, yeah, the sides are it. The sides are great. Like, really, really good sides. And then you've got like this, as you can see, I already took like several bites out of this. This like a pound cake cornbread thing, and it is good. You know, sometimes like cornbread can be a little bit sweet. I actually kind of like hot water cornbread a little bit more than the cornbread with milk, because I feel like it's more snappy, if that's a word. I mean, it's a word, if that's a phrase. But I like that it's more crumbly. This here is like really good. You actually get like 2 slices of it. And it is like not overly sweet, but it has like just a little bit of sweetness to it. And it's like, when I think of like Southern food, this is like what I think of. Ribs, some greens, some corn, some cornbread. Like, yeah. Now, barbecue was one of the things that I most definitely wanted to try while in Nashville. And with this, I think overall, you know, we had some like little bumps in the road along the way, but for the most part, I still think that the food was pretty good. Even onto the ribs. Like, don't get me wrong, like, the ribs aren't terrible or anything like that. You know, warmed up properly and with some barbecue sauce, it's actually pretty good. I think like it might be a better experience if you eat it there at the restaurant, and it's nice and fresh and whatnot. It was just me, and I was driving, so fortunately I was a little bit concerned about things cutting a little bit too close between the time to pick up my food and the start of the walk, but I was able to do like a pickup order. And what I realized was that while there isn't, like, you can't park and stay there, like leave your car or whatever, but you can do like sort of like a pickup kind of thing, like to drop off or pick up from out there on the main strip. You know, when you walk in, I mean, I'm not like a fancy establishment kind of place. It was fine. You know, it looked like just a regular restaurant, but I was a little bit annoyed that I put in the order and I got there and it was like, it's supposed to take me about like, 17, 18 minutes or so to pick up. It was estimated that the order would be like, it would take them like 20 minutes to put together the order. So it seemed like it'd be perfectly fine. By the time I got there, I parked and ran in. My order should be there ready to pick up. I got there and it was like, seemed to have no knowledge of my order or whatever. I gave the guy at the counter my name and went to use the bathroom. He was like, oh, it'll just be a few minutes or whatever. Went to use the bathroom, came back out, and they still hadn't started working my order. I gave the guy at the counter my name, and like he looked through and didn't see the order. And I showed him the order like on my phone, and when he looked back through it, he saw the order. And I showed him like the confirmation and everything like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I guess like there was some kind of issue or whatever, and I guess my order didn't transfer over, however that worked. And so with this now, they were like, it's fine, like we'll just put the plate together now. And so it's like cool, like the one guy, he got the ribs into the container really quickly. And then there was like this lady, and it's like, I'm kind of waiting for them to put the sides in so I can run back out, get in my car and go on about my business. And it's like, like she's like playing around and this and that and whatnot. And ordinarily, like I wouldn't really care. But it's like, like my order wasn't ready for pickup like it was supposed to be. And it's now 25 heading to 30 minutes, and it's like I was expecting to come in and have my order be like waiting for me so I could just grab it, because like I'm trying to get somewhere in time. And it was like, given that I got there, fine, I understand, like, if it didn't transfer over, it was some kind of technical issue or whatever, that's cool. But then it's like, now that I'm here, like, please hurry up and get my order together so I can leave. Because it's like, this is pickup, right? Like, the point of putting it in was to ensure that when I get there, I can just grab the order and run back to my car so I can go on about my business, not having to come in and then wait additional time or whatever. And it's like, I've already waited some time, and it's now, getting to be like kind of crunch time for me, where it's like now, getting to be more like the 10 heading towards possibly a 15-minute wait. And it's like, I'm kind of pressed for time. So it's like, the pickup order process like didn't really work for me. I think maybe if like you were dining in, because I saw other people come in and get their food pretty quickly. I think it might have just been, I would give the benefit of the doubt that it was just a one-off thing. And I wasn't even really that annoyed at the order not transferring. That wasn't a big deal. But it's like, if I do like a pickup order and there's a problem, then I think you kind of try to make it right and you hurry up and get my order together, right? And so, but, however it worked out, I got my stuff or whatever. And I'm going to finish chowing down and continue my Netflix and chilling and go to bed in a little while, because I still have more stuff that I need to get done tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in. To ensure you don't miss any episodes, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, go ahead and click that thumbs up button if you like what you saw, and go ahead and share it on social media.